Break out of the chaos.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Hello and welcome to week 2 of the Coach Roger Cador Show. Clarence Buggs along with the Coach Roger Cador. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing good, and you, Clarence?
I am well, Coach. Thank you for asking. Let's start with some college football. The LSU-Florida game was the perfect way to completely sum up the 2020 season with one word: crazy.
Yeah, you took 64 scholarship players, and the best player that you took wasn't able to play.
Right.
So you're in whatever they call it, the gate or whatever.
The swamp.
So swamp.
Uh-huh.
You're playing in the swamp with fog coming
Right.
out of the sky.
Right.
You couldn't see it, and the game is won. Oh, with a size 14 shoe being thrown. Oh, what a beautiful.
Can this season get any crazier?
Probably can.
Oh.
Man, listen, I could only understand how the coach feels. See, one thing about that young man who threw the shoe. I mean, I don't think it was intentional, but they get so hyped up and involved.
Right.
He wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
If I throw this size 14 shoes, I'm asking for problems.
Well, it has not been confirmed just yet, but some folk are speculating Marco Wilson was the young man's name, that he is going to opt out of the rest of the season and go open a shoe store. The rumors had not been confirmed, but I mean, you almost, as crazy as things have been, you almost watch football now just to see what the next crazy thing is going to be that happens.
Oh, you're right, Clarence. And with social media, Clarence, and with our young people, so much is going on with them. And it's just sad that, that this could happen in a critical time. But, hey, LSU needed a break.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they've had so many things going against them, so they needed a break.
You got to give LSU credit, though. With all the mistakes that were made, with the crazy penalty at the end of the game, LSU came to play.
They did, and they started the freshman quarterback who hadn't played much, but he did. They kept the game playing real simple for him, and I like that. And they gave him a chance to win and get. And I thought the offensive line did a much better job. They weren't able to run the ball consistently, but they ran just enough. And when they needed the first down, Johnson was able to run and get it.
What do you think was Max Johnson's mindset going into hostile territory? You're a freshman. Team has been on a skid. What do you think his mindset was like, knowing this is his first start in hostile territory as a freshman quarterback?
Well, you know, he's been around big situation because of his daddy profession,
Right.
NFL quarterback. They've talked about this type of situation on many occasions. And I just felt that he was ready for it. I think he knew they gave him enough time to know that he was starting, which is good
Right.
and bad with a freshman. Sometimes you want to start him right before the game.
Right.
But he had chance to prepare. They had a game plan in place for him. And I thought he did a great job of executing it.
Think back to your playing days. You, after college, go to the major league system. Your first start, what was that like for you? Did you know ahead of time you were going to start? Was it a surprise? How did that all shake out? And how did Roger Cador handle that mentally?
If I can go back to 1970, my freshman year at Southern, I don't play the whole year.
Okay.
We had blowout, and he could have put me in. Never put me in.
Okay.
We get to the NAIA playoff in Monroe against Northeast,
Okay.
and he said, "You be ready, lad. You be ready, lad." That's what they used to call you.
Right.
And the ninth inning come, and he calls me
Okay.
to pitch hit.
Whoa.
I'm literally shaking out of my shoes. But I went in and I fought. And I thought I beat it out. They called me out and he said, "You did a good job, lad. You stay ready for tomorrow."
Wow.
Well, I was a little more relaxed knowing that I may be called again tomorrow. And I wasn't. I got a base hit.
Right.
So that's how it started. But you talk about a scared young man.
Those first 8 innings, sitting there watching the game unfold, knowing he's told you, be ready.
Yeah.
What was that 8 innings like, Coach?
Well, it was like all of other 8 innings, in my opinion, that was during the course of the year. They came and go. They came and went. They came and never played and never got. As I mentioned, there were games we blew people out.
Right. But he hadn't told you, be ready.
No. And I really didn't think much of it, to be honest with you.
Right.
Because, you hadn't played. Why would that man put me in?
So when you got to the 9th, were you thinking, okay, I'm off the hook. If he hadn't put me in all this time, it's not going to happen.
Well, they had one out and he called my name. I got the call. Lad. He never called you. You were always lad.
Right.
Back then, that's what they called us, lad.
Yeah, it's a good lad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I battled for him, though. I didn't strike out against Tom Brown. Tom Brown was a great curveball specialist. He ended up being a pitching coach at LSU at some point in his career.
Right.
But what a battle. I think he pitched professionally with Baltimore. But I battled him to the end. I really battled Tom. And years later, he remembered that little skinny kid who battled him with that great curveball.
Wow. So it really shouldn't surprise us all that much that Max Johnson, the freshman quarterback, made such a good showing in his first outing?
I wasn't surprised. I sort of like the kid when I saw him. Now, he's not going to blow you away with being a pocket passer and throwing.
Right.
If you allow him to move the pocket and run some, he's going to be okay. And I think that's what's so good about him. And keep the passes intermediate, short and intermediate. He'll do very well for him.
It wasn't.
And the other thing, Clarence, I hate to cut you off,
That's
it will
okay.
help that offensive line. That offensive line played a lot better because he wasn't just sitting in that pocket.
Yeah, and as goes the offensive line, so goes the offense. It wasn't pretty giving up 34 points, but Bo Pelini finally managed to cobble together a defense that kept us in it long enough for the offense to find its rhythm and click.
He really did. I mean, that was some scary moment there when you kept thinking they were going to fall apart because you got Florida with the trash and this great quarterback throwing all them touchdowns.
Right.
And but they held it together. They found a way. And Cox did one hell of a job. And number 3, I think Anthony might have been his name. No whole lot to me. But they played really, really good for LSU on the defensive end.
So what do you tell a team when you go in, you're 24-point underdog, you jump out to a lead, you give up the lead in hostile territory, unfavorable conditions, knowing there's the possibility that your team is now doubting itself, particularly based on what they've done so far this season. What's the coaching approach to that?
Well, I don't know if they really said a whole bunch to those kids. I was happy and impressed the fact that there were a couple of mistakes made on the defense, and Stingley started jumping on his teammates, and the coach got in and sent him off. Don't do that. They let us do it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And because you don't want the teammate tearing you anywhere further down than what the coaches are doing.
Yeah.
They're supposed to build each other. Now, there are exceptions to the rule. There are exceptions to the rule. There are only a few players can jump their teammates and they get better because they trust them.
Right.
I don't know if Stingley's that guy, but the coaches didn't think he was. They asked him not to do it. And I thought that in itself lent a lot of credibility, so those kids kept playing better. They got better as the game went along.
Right. So at the end of the day, do you think the Gators overlooked LSU in favor of looking down the road to matching up with the vaunted Alabama Crimson Tide for the SEC championship and possibly a top four?
Well, you didn't play your best wide receiver, Pitts. You thought you could beat him without him.
Right.
It goes to show you something. One thing about Power 5 conference, it's almost like the NFL. Anybody can beat you on a given day.
Oh, yeah.
You can't take nothing for granted. LSU has a history. LSU won the national championship last year. You have to take all of that into consideration because, yeah, they played bad, but they scored a lot of points during their struggle during the course of the year. They've scored points.
True.
It's just that the defense have let them down, but what they were able to do is really find a way to just do enough. They did just enough. And sometimes that's all it takes.
And, of course, lest we forget, you are still talking about young people. And as much as you preach to them during the course of the week, this is an SEC team. They got lots of talent. There's still some left over from the national championship, greatest of all time team. These are still young people you're talking about, and that sometimes can go in one ear and come out faster than it went in out the other ear.
Maybe it never entered the ear. It went around. It hit
Good point.
It hit and then went around.
Good point.
Yeah, you know, that's the way it is with you. And I'm sure. I had to look at how sloppy Florida was. Or I don't maybe not use the word sloppy, but they were not crisp and didn't have the energy.
Right.
That a team was 8-1, scoring a ton of points. They didn't look like that kind of team because LSU didn't do anything different defensively.
Right.
They just played hard.
Well, tell you what, we're going to go ahead and get this first break of today's show out of the way. When we come back, we will view highlights from this huge upset, 24-point underdog, and the Tigers get unquestionably their biggest win of the year. That's coming up next as we continue the Coach Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock, conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Bugg Show. The only thing missing is you.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to week 2 of the Coach Roger Cador Show. Clarence Buggs along with the coach, Roger Cador. The conventional wisdom, Coach, says that when you are coaching a team like LSU that's had all the peaks and valleys you will ever encounter in one season, you've lost as much starting talent as you've lost. The fan base questioning your ability, your capability. You've got COVID-19 thrown into the mix on top of all of that. Conventional wisdom says you rally around that with, guys, it's us against the world. Nobody believes in us anymore. We're the only ones that believe in ourselves. We got to go out there and shock the world. How far can that take you?
Have someone paid you to go and give a pep talk to a team?
Gus Malzone should have paid me. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, it goes so far, especially during the course of a long season.
Mm-hmm.
You have to tailor it to the moment.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Normally that's what, kids don't remember what happened 2 weeks ago.
Good point.
So you have to tailor things to the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to talk about things that are important to them.
Right.
And if you could do that, that can stimulate them for the job at hand.
Right.
So those are you gotta tailor it and make it mean something, make it real.
Now, do you also have to be careful as far as how and when you play that card? And here's what I mean. Florida was ranked number 6 in the nation at that point. So obviously you've got one shot left this season to knock off a big dog. But if you're not careful, if you play that card too hard, too early, too emotional, you run the risk of taking on Ole Miss for the final game, and it's anticlimactic, and you lay an egg.
You got to really be careful. That's always a problem for teams.
Yeah.
That you get up and you beat somebody like Florida, and the next team, it's a trap.
Yeah,
It's
trap
a trap
game. Let
trap
down.
game. And I'm thinking this could be the case. First, we got to find out how many more injuries
True.
they're coming out of that one. And then Ole Miss is a good team. Ole Miss has played well. They're going to be very creative from the offensive standpoint, which could cause more problems for the defense.
And they will be in the position LSU was in the week before, taking on Florida. all right, guys, nobody believes in Ole Miss anymore. We got the opportunity to shock the world, beat the team that just beat the number 6 team in the nation. They can turn around and use the same card that we used on Florida against us.
Yeah, and I missed out on an opportunity back in 1966 or 68. Could have been 64. And when a young man went to Miami and fought Sonny Liston by the name of Cassius Clay at the time. And when he said, I shocked the world.
Right.
I shocked the world.
Right.
So LSU sort of shocked the world with that victory.
Oh, no doubt.
I'm telling you, no one I spoke to thought they had a chance.
Nope.
And that's why you can't, that's why you play the game.
That's why you play it.
That's why you play it. I mean, they had beaten up on LSU for every reason. They're only going with 64. I'm not going to watch the game. It's going to be a blowout. Florida's going to score 80. Well, LSU scored 34, and Florida scored 31.
Thank God we don't play the game on paper. LSU, Florida highlights. Guys, out in the truck, let's roll the highlights as we continue our conversation on this monumental win. It's just one of those seasons, Coach. I mean, all cylinders clicking.
Early second quarter, tied at 7 until
that's as good as it gets. Although that play did worry me a little bit. I'm like, oh God, don't taunt.
It's
don't
that
taunt.
Boutte. It's Boutte. I don't know if that was Boutte. It looked like Ricks, though. But we don't want to do that. It's just dangerous.
Goes off the hands.
Boy, that was a fantastic interception right there.
That's one of those in the right place at the right time, and it just falls your way.
And it's telling LSU, we got a chance.
And of course, the more plays happen like that, the more you start believing that you can pull this thing off, right?
Yeah, you believe in it. Well, see, the thing is, and to beat a team like Florida, you have to have those kind of plays.
Oh, yeah, especially playing in Florida.
Exactly.
But Max Johnson did himself proud, Coach.
Yeah, he really, again. That's Boutte.
Max Johnson's first career start.
He went all the way in this time.
Johnson, loving what he's seeing. We got a ball game right here.
Trask doing his usual outstanding job. But the turnovers in that contest, I'm going to wonder out loud how far that's going to put him behind in the Heisman chase.
Well, you know, he lost, and you know, I don't. You know, the guy from Alabama and Phil Jones from Alabama. This is the one where Bo Bellini. See, everybody did their job.
Right.
Those offensive guys did their job, and it made it tough for them to tackle.
Speaking of Heisman,
go ahead.
And right about now, you start to see the fog start to roll in. It was as though the football gods said, "Okay, we're going to put our touch on this thing, and LSU will be the beneficiary."
Look at the fog, Clarence.
There it is.
And look at that step up right here. Is this the shoe? Let me see the shoe. There it is.
There it is. There it is. So, what do you tell Marco Wilson after that play, Coach? What do you say to that young man?
I mean, who throws a shoe? And
That's
it gives
not
the Tigers new life.
You gotta make better decisions. You really don't want to beat him down. You know, ooh, look at the fog. We can't see it, Clarence. Did it go through?
Oh, it went through.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me see Baby Ageron.
34 LSU. Now that's how you use
Of course, they still had one last shot at it, attempting a 51-yarder.
Couple chunk gainers, sets up Evan McPherson for a
but it comes up short. And the Tigers come away with the most improbable win, certainly of 2020, if not in recent memory altogether. So what do you say to Marco, the young man that in the heat of the moment, emotional moment, thinking this is it, we pull this thing off, and throws the shoe? What do you say to him after the game?
Well, you really want to console him, because once it happened, it's all over. You can't undo it.
Can't undo it.
And so you got to let him know that those are the kind of decisions you can't make. You hurt your teammates.
Right.
You know, y'all played hard, and one bad mistake, you got to use good judgment. you're going to be all right. Because let's face it, he needs him next week.
Oh, yeah.
You got to let that game go. So, and I'm sure the coach did a good job of upbuilding him rather than tearing him down. You don't want to tear a kid down when he's already toned down.
Right.
That's when building take place. So.
Of course, now, it's not as though there haven't already been any number of examples for him to follow. Just last season, young man scores a touchdown, decides he's going to run up to the goal line and lift his leg and
Ole Miss or Mississippi State
ended up costing him the game.
That's right.
So it's not like you don't have examples out there, but understanding these are young people that we're talking about, understanding the emotion of the moment, particularly in a game like football that is so predicated on brute physical strength. Are we asking some unrealistic expectations of them in that regard?
Sometimes, but I want to go back to a comment the coach made also.
Okay.
Coach Muller. He said that play didn't cost him the game.
Right.
That was key because they played bad. They shouldn't have never been in that situation.
Good point.
And that's what happened. When you don't play your best and something like this happened, it gets magnified.
Yeah.
And you think that's cost you the game because in reality it really didn't.
Right.
Look at all those missed opportunities, the mistakes they made. So there it is. But yeah, as we go back to you asking about, we ask a lot of them. And they know we're going to ask a lot of them.
Right.
Because that's when they took the scholarship. They took it with that in mind. You're playing for a program like this.
Right.
We're going to play for the championship.
Right.
And there's going to be demands put on you that other people may not put on you. And if you want to be a part of it, sign this scholarship.
Right.
We're going to work hard, son.
Right. One of the very first lessons that I learned from the legendary Eddie Robinson when I was hosting his TV series many years ago, one play does not make a game. You just reiterated that. They had, and I guess the first time I posed that question to Coach Rob, and he said, "Nah, Bugs, that play didn't determine the game." I guess he saw the look on my face. So he explained, he said, we had ample opportunities every play before that one play. 11 guys on the field. If they'd all done their jobs on every play, it never would have come to that. Now, you teach that or taught that as part of your philosophy. Over the years of teaching this to young people, how many of them actually do you think took that to heart?
Most of them did, but it comes an emotional time when a kid just loses the focus just for one play,
Right.
which, what's the kid's name, Wilson?
Marco Wilson.
Wilson lost it just for one play
Yeah.
because he was playing a good game.
Yeah.
He played a good game, so, but they take it to heart, Clarence, because kids work hard and they want to win. I mean, he put himself in his own way to make difficult tackles, so
Right.
he want to win.
Right.
So that's not even an issue. It's just, you can't beat him down for one play where he made an emotional mistake and caused the game looked like it was caused by that.
Yeah.
I like the play though.
Right. Well, he will forever, he will never be able for the rest of his life to get away from the fact that he will forever be associated with the Florida Gators and LSU.
LSU?
That's just
That's
the way it
pretty
is.
good.
That's going to be his cross to bear forever. We need to get our second break. Actually, third break following the open of today's show. We'll come back and shift gears from purple and gold to black and gold when we continue this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bug Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Bug Show. The only thing missing is you.
Break out of the chaos.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Coach Roger Cador Show. Coach, let's shift gears now and move on from LSU to the Saints. Speaking of possibly overlooking a team, did the Saints not give enough credit to a 3-8-1 Philadelphia team, starting a quarterback making his pro debut?
Well, I really don't think they did. You know why? Because they're playing for home field advantage throughout. So they're not overlooking anyone. They got to win them all.
I would hope not.
Yeah, because of Kansas City. I don't know if it's Green Bay or Kansas City. Whoever is in that, Green Bay is in that division.
Yeah.
So they want to win out. So I don't think they overlook him again. And the quarterback, number 7, Talon, what's
Hurts
for Saints?
Oh, Taysom.
What's his last name?
Taysom Hill.
Hill did not play bad. He really played decent, but Hurts played a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, because he really ran the ball good. He connected on the short pass. And you could see the NFL is going more to quarterbacks that can move. You can move the pocket so they can either run or throw. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And coaches are finding out that it's much more effective against these really good defenses that they have to face. But I think the Saints, they played relatively well. It's just that this team played really good.
Yeah. Is that a part of finally coming to terms with being considered one of the big dogs? I mean, when you come into opposing territory with a record like the Saints have, you come in 9-game win streak, you come in having won your last 8 games without your starting quarterback, including Bridgewater last year, Hill this year. When you got the S on your chest, that means you're the best, but it also means you got a target on your back, right?
Yeah, all teams in the NFL, even the Jets, they coming after them, and the Jets hadn't won. But, you know, the thing is, and the Steelers have ran into similar problems. I mean, it's just the NFL. It's hard to go undefeated, It's hard to win week in and week out because teams prepare a little different. And remember, no matter what's the record of that team you're playing, those players on that team are playing for jobs.
True.
That's what you have to remember. They're playing for jobs. So record has little to do with it when people playing for jobs.
Have you, in recent memory, seen a rookie quarterback make his debut and look as poised as Jalen Hurts did?
No, he was awful poised. He was awful poised. He looked like a veteran.
Yeah.
But that comes from playing at Alabama and going to Oklahoma and playing in a type system and got him ready. He was ready for this assignment. He's seen enough. He's probably a good student of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Where he can get the information that the coaches are putting out there. I think he was a steal when I kept telling people he was better than people gave him credit for.
Yeah.
You know.
You look at the way the offense responded to him. It looked as though 3-8-1, the record aside, they wanted him to have a good game in his debut. I mean, it's as though the whole team played a little bit above their capabilities just for Jalen.
Well, they played well for him. And again, I keep saying, players play good because they're playing for their jobs. And they're paying for either increase in salary. There are a lot of reasons they play well.
Right.
I mean, you got to, and that's what I know about pro teams. It's a lot different than a lot of other school amateur. The pros are playing for job security.
Yeah. One of the things that was a bit concerning for me was it became apparent early on in this game that because of his physical ability to run the ball, he was given license whenever he needed to and felt that he could to run the ball. He ran roughshod over the number one defense first half. We didn't make the adjustments until the third quarter to deal with that.
Remember now, they didn't have a lot of time to prepare for Jalen.
Yeah.
You got me?
But you made that adjustment at halftime.
Well, but you didn't have that. He did most of the damage in the first half.
Right.
Because they didn't have the preparation time. You got me? And it takes, when you get Monday off and you only have a couple of days of practice, you don't have a lot of time to put in plays for people like Jalen Hurts. Those kind of quarterbacks are different. So that's what it is. But because teams are good and you got veterans, then it's easier to make adjustment at halftime. That's why people, they use halftime to make adjustment. And good teams always does that.
We've seen in recent memory the pendulum, I call it, swing at the quarterback position in the NFL. At one point in time, it was strictly pocket passers. Then along came the Michael Vicks of the world and others, and we saw a shift back toward the more mobile quarterback. Then there was a little bit more of a shift back. Now we're starting to see the shift again. Ultimately, where do you think the pendulum will stop?
Well, I don't say, I don't have that crystal ball. Look into the,
Why not? Why not, Peter?
But what I see is happening as they put more and more African American at the quarterback position. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get guys with good legs that sprint out.
Wait. You're not telling me white boys can't run.
Well, they don't run like
they don't run like brothers.
No. And I think if you see that, Hill is more the exception than the
I was going to say, Taysom runs like a brother. He's got some wheels.
Yeah. But, you just don't find a lot of them that's doing that. So, but that's why coaches want to win now.
Oh, yeah.
30 years ago, they didn't have to do it. Now, you're going to get rained off. Gus Malzone.
Yeah, we'll talk about him a little bit later on.
If you don't win, so that's why you go and you put your the person at that quarterback position who gives you the best opportunity to win. And it's going to be the guy with the legs that can run out there and throw the ball a little.
Speaking of the guy with the legs that can throw the ball, does Taysom Hill have what it takes, in your estimation, to be the heir apparent to Drew Brees?
I really like him. There are some people who are valuable in the number 2 spot as a change of pace.
Right.
I like him more in that role than an every down quarterback, because he just don't look comfortable to me when he's an every down quarterback. Even though he won those games, I was really worried that he didn't look the same, you know. So, you know, that's basically, we'll see. I don't know if he's the heir apparent. He could be. He could be. You just don't know. They paid him a lot of money this year. So obviously, Peyton has a lot of love for him.
So if you are Jameis Winston and you've watched all of this take place, what's your mindset right about now?
I think he came there because he saw how Bridgewater learned, set and learned, and really benefited from that system. And I think that's what he needed it to do. Keep in mind, his body is being rested, not taking that pounding for you. And he's still young. I think he's 28, 29 years old. So he's a young quarterback.
True.
And if he could learn from that system that Sean Payton has in place, he can go somewhere else and be a productive quarterback.
I've got to imagine that he's looking at what's going on. It's hard to argue with the coach's decision when, at the end of the day, there's a W behind every single game that the other guy started instead of you. At this point, after the first loss in all of this, you're the head coach. Do you wait for him to come and talk to you? Or do you talk to him and say, I know you may be feeling certain things, but I need you to trust the system and what we're doing? Do you wait for him to, Coach, you got a minute, can I talk to you? Or do you talk to him? Where do you go with that?
That's an interesting question, Clarence. Only you could ask that. I mean, you know,
you're the coach. I gotta ask.
Yeah. Well, because why would the guy go talk to the coach when the guy's just one loss doesn't say that he needs to?
You hadn't really looked all that impressive in the wins against big teams.
Yeah.
And you got a big one coming up this weekend, and we don't want to lose.
Who you got this weekend?
Kansas City.
Yeah. Well, Drew will be back. Won't he?
We're gonna have to talk about that too. I mean, do you risk and hold your answer, because we got a break coming up here. Do you risk a guy that had 11 ribs damaged?
It was 11?
Do you risk bringing him back for Kansas City, knowing one wrong hit and you lose him for the rest of the playoffs and possibly a Super Bowl? Is it worth trying to be sure? I mean, there's the other variable. You want to knock off a little bit of rust before the playoffs start. We need to get him in there, get the offense reacclimated to Drew. But do you take that chance this close to the playoffs to one wrong hit, aggravating it real bad, and now he's gone for the whole season? Think about it. Hold that thought. We're going to get this break out of the way, and we'll see some highlights and get this big-time answer when we come back with the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Call Peter. Ask him.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock, conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican, the Clarence Bugg Show. The only thing missing is you.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to this week's edition, week 2, by the way, of the Coach Roger Cador Show. All right, Coach, so the question was heading into the break. Thought I'd forgotten about it, did you? The question is, if Drew is healthy enough to start against Kansas City this week, do you put him out there and risk him taking a bad hit and lose him for the remainder of the playoffs? Or do you put him out there if he says, Coach, I'm good to go. Put me out there. Because we want, with the new format, because of COVID-19 and everything, only one team gets a bye in the playoffs. We want that bye, but because of the loss and Green Bay's win, they've now leapfrogged us, and of course they hold the tiebreaker over us. Do you start him or not?
I'm going to start him.
You're going to start him?
You ask me, I'm telling you.
True.
We're going to start him, but we're going to limit. We'll do maybe 2 plays, 2 or 3, and then bring Hill in.
Mm-hmm.
We'll use him almost
situationally.
60-40.
Okay.
That way you keep, you don't keep Drew out there too much on passing.
Right.
3rd down and long. You got me?
Right.
You don't want him where they know he's passing.
Right.
And they can come. So I would do it where he can, early in the count, he can go with the short, quick pass.
Mm-hmm.
And if Kamara is running good, then it makes it easy for him to hit Thomas with the short passes.
That is true. That is true. And
but I'm going to start him, Clarence. You want to know? That's what I'm doing.
All right. Well, there you go. Let's roll the highlights because we are getting short on time for the remainder of today's show. So, guys, out in the truck, if you would, let's roll it. It's I don't know, Coach. I'm concerned about getting him back out there, but at the same time, I also want that bye.
Yeah.
And you got to wonder psychologically, that would be a tremendous boost for the team to have Drew back out there leading the offense.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Jalen Hurts looked comfortable.
Didn't he?
Look at that. Staying right there. I mean, the guy was in his face.
And the coach is saying, well, we're going to have to wait and see who we start next week, whether it's Carson Wentz or whether it's Jalen. Who would you start next week, Coach?
Jalen.
I already knew the answer to that question. I thought out of a sense of fairness that I would ask it.
Yeah.
But it's a little concerning as we watch that running play that Alvin Kamara's role has been so diminished over the last few weeks.
Yeah, they're not using him as much. And I could understand you want to keep him healthy because you've been winning,
Right. And I guess you also tailor that offense to whoever is running the offense. In this case, a Taysom Hill. But the defense, yet another example right there of the defense suffering breakdowns at an inopportune time. And as the good teams do, they make you pay for it.
They make you pay, you know.
What's coming? Hill has Kamara wide open, and he's taking people around him from the Eagles organization.
To his credit, though, Taysom was able to keep the game relatively close, defense notwithstanding, and again, had all 11 on every play executed the way they should have, it would not have come down to being such a close game.
That's right.
His clock.
Yeah.
Hill standing in over the middle. There's Michael Thomas.
He didn't play that bad.
Play of the day for New Orleans. Thomas now up to 7 catches, 70.
Well, there's something to be said about not playing, quote, that bad.
Yeah.
And I noticed you said he didn't play that bad, as opposed to saying he played good enough to win.
Yeah, he didn't. I didn't say that. You said it.
Well, I just noticed that a lot of times it's not what people say, it's what they don't say.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I thought that play right there would have resulted in a lot more yards, but that was another case of the defense doing his job.
Yeah.
Hill fires wide
You know,
open.
and he's, you know.
They'll throw it here on the fake. It has it blocked initially.
There was
a
sense or a lack of a sense of urgency late in the game that I found was a little disturbing as well. And I've got to wonder how much of that was due to not having Drew Brees in the huddle.
Well, Drew Brees has all of that experience that he can lean on, and the players know that he can see in the back of his head. You got me?
Right. And he can come in and give you a sense of urgency in an orderly fashion, as opposed to sense of urgency where everybody's panicking.
Plus, he builds confidence.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
But it is, again, it's 2020, and on any given Saturday and or Sunday, you can turn on a game and you will find the craziest things are going to happen on both sides of the ball. That's just what 2020 is.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely
he's already in the building right now.
Now, you had to know, and you're the one that always talks about professionals and the amount of pride that they have. When it was 17-0, when it was, at this point, 24-14, you had to know they're not going to go down just like this.
No, they're going to fight. Let me tell you, man, listen, when they go in and break down those films, those people breaking down, if you're not hustling, trying, they cut you. Okay? You know, guys get cut for not hustling. So I'm telling you, that's why I say losing team, they have players who play for praying for next year or salary. Boy, they almost got this ball too.
Yeah, and that was the most.
Oh my goodness!
And it's one of those little idiosyncrasies. If you, I don't know if we have the replay in slow-mo. There's no way the Saints were not supposed to have recovered that fumble. But when you think about it, and I never thought about this until a few years ago, somebody pointed it out. Football is the only sport, only game in any sport where the ball is not round. Golf, tennis, ping pong, bowling, all of them. It's the only game.
And it takes funny bounces.
And it takes crazy bounces. I don't know if when the game was designed, if they purposely knew that and did it that way, but that darn oblong ball can take some of the craziest bounces you will ever see.
A young student athlete on Southern's campus, and you know, back then football coaches used to teach classes.
Right.
That was part of their thing. And I had many classes on, and And the coach would say, man, that darn ball took a funny hop on it. They lose the game. They talk about the hop.
Right.
The bad hop, bounce. You know, so I could tell you, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's a dangerous, I mean, that thing, I don't know how they didn't get it either. I kept watching it, and the guys were right on top of it. And when it hit the eagle foot, I thought they had it there.
Right. Only in football do you not recover that ball. Got to talk before we get out of here. Gus Malzahn, out at Auburn, won the SEC his first year, played in the BCS championship, all in his first year, won the SEC West in 2017, gave him a 7-year, $49 million extension in 2017. And 2020, he's out the door. Is that crazy or what?
That's the way it is, man, in big-time football. And even, they're just firing people. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't know what they think, but you know what? It's a certain element of people who are at those universities who are pressuring administrators. They're pressuring. Get rid of them. I'm not going to give any more money.
Yeah. And there were probably, after the last game where they finished 6-4, there were some phone calls, I'm sure, made to the president and the AD saying, hey, yeah, this is Bob. Hey, Bob, how you doing? I'm not doing good, man. I'll pledge $10 million if he's gone in 24 hours. Okay, I remember that. Got another call a little while later. Hey, this is Jack. Yeah, if he's gone in 24 hours, I got $8 million.
Marty didn't call in Allen with $2 million each?
Yeah, just saying.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, Gus is owed $21.7 million. 50% of that has to be paid in the first 30 days. So apparently, folks there, to get a winning program again, they're ready to put the money up, no questions asked.
Well, you know.
What does that say about the state of college football?
Well, it's a madhouse, madness. But that's what, FCC just signed a $300 million contract with Disney.
Yep.
So they got a lot of money coming in. They're going to have a lot of other corporate sponsorship, and they got to win.
Yeah.
They have to win. They have to put a winning product out there so the fan base will pay those big, high ticket prices to come see that team win.
Yeah. Before we go, because we're short on time, I got to take a second and mention big-time props to Brandon Rice. Brandon is Jerry Rice's son that plays for Colorado. Had never returned a punt in his life. This weekend, they put him in as a punt returner in Colorado, taking on Utah. First time, they kicked to him, ran it back 81 yards to the house for a touchdown. Then they messed around and kicked to him again, second time.
No, they threw it to him.
61 yard to the house.
Yeah, they threw
touchdown.
It was a pass.
Lesson here, if you're playing Colorado, make sure they don't get the ball to Jerry Rice's son, because if they do, you're in trouble. On behalf of the coach and the crew, I'm Clarence Buggs, looking forward to seeing you next week with another edition of the Coach Roger Cador Show. Go Jags.